Welcome to my channel. Today I'll tell you the tale of it.Short, the woman who married a married man and became the enemy of the community. Louis fell in love with beautiful Yam at a very young age, and eventually he married his sweetheart 6 years after, when they were in their early 20s. They had 4 lovely children together and life couldn't be happier. Louis is from a family of actors, and it was no surprise he became one himself and went on to become a movie producer in the community. Louis is loud, he's proud, he loves drama, maybe because of his profession, and takes no advice from nobody. He made good money and supported his family. His wife is a beautiful businesswoman, hardworking. She's a homemaker, sweet, stunning beauty, quiet, patient, kind, homely, and a little laid back. These are her strengths. In April 2022, they celebrated their 17 years wedding anniversary, and the children couldn't ask for more. The couple and their children enjoyed life together, and many people loved them. Life was beautiful. Her peaceful and calm nature was the reason the community didn't hear much about her until something happened that changed the course of their lives forever. The community parrot loves to talk and give juicy gossips that contain details about other people's lives, especially details which are normally kept private. The parrot was at it again, and the whole community's ears started to itch. And the people that love to carry their shells on their shoulders and go from house to gossip, you know them now. So the bloggers, you know them. They made the gossip louder. Birds began to tweet the news, and before long, news got to Louis that the parrot had started talking. Hey, Fiam! Louis stood up. It was a story. The story he had hidden so well. So well, Yam had no idea her husband wasn't in a committed, monogamous marriage with her. He was cheating. He quickly organized friends, and they went with him to pay it.Short's bride price to her mother because his family wanted to take no part in the shenanigans. it.Short's family accepted the bride price, and that was it. They were married in the eye of tradition. Louis and it.Short became husband and wife. Then something even more bizarre happened. Before the news could spread any further, Louis quickly announced on social media to the whole community, home and abroad, that he, the Odogu one of Igbo land, had taken a second wife, and in fact, she had blessed him with a handsome boy. His announcement lacked empathy and concern for Yam's feeling. He was rude, he was noisy, he was loud and arrogant about nothing other than sheer stupidity, absolute stupidity. Haba, you know when two teenagers love each other so dearly and sincerely and deeply, eventually made it to the altar and vowed before God and man to be together forever until death do them part. Somehow, the love began to wane and finally fizzled out, but one party didn't know that love was gone and only commitment was keeping them together. You don't know you are the only one in love and the other person is sharing his goodness with other women, something that should be exclusively for you. Think about the pain, the rejection, the betrayal, the shame in the full glare of the community. Yam was wounded, but she was calm. She licked her wound in private, but smiled in public. She looked at herself in the mirror and asked, why didn't I know all this while? What did I do wrong? Why didn't I see the red flags? Louis was definitely a good pretender. She cried while Louis and it.Short slept in each other's arms. She cried while they laughed. She groaned in her spirit while they enjoyed to turn her in the public domain. She cried and beat her chest, beat her thighs, and soaked her pillow with tears while her husband posted his praises of his new wife and son on the community social media. How could it be that he was in her arms and in the big warm bosom of another woman at another time, and she couldn't tell? She smiled for the community to see how well she was coping, but the heartbreak was heavy. The only thing she said in response to what the husband posted on the community social media was, God will judge both of you. Some men clapped for Louis for being the Odogu one of Igbo land. The brave Odogu. They clapped and clapped and clapped. Ella, the comedian, and one other actor said on Your View, a TV program, that the Bible never said a man shouldn't marry more than a wife. After all, men in the Old Testament married many wives. He said his own father married more than his mother, but the pain and burden his mother endured, he would never ever know, because he would never understand. Louis was encouraged by their applaud and commendation, and so he flaunted Nitsua's and the adorable boy. He celebrated his first birthday and made sure the community was aware of it. He unfollowed his wife on the community page, and Nitsua praised him for being a real man. But silence, they say, is golden. Yang was quiet. She rested her chin in her palm and watched. But people rallied around her and covered her shame. Another comedian, OYA, invited her to events, and soon she became a model for some products. She began to shine and make money. What the enemy meant for evil turned for her good. She became an overnight sensation and flew everywhere. It was good, it was sweet, it was exciting. And the fact she didn't say anything bad about her marriage or the second wife endeared more people to her. The community loved her, they shielded her, they promoted her brand and supported her business. Louis and Nitsua were jealous. Nitsua's friend began to ridicule this cool and calm lady. Louis said she was doing too much and advised she slow down and take things easy. But many began to see her strength. They saw class and embraced her even more. Her silence turned to cash. Soon everyone called her an angel. Even though she was loved by many, she was sad she had lost the love of the one who mattered most. Oh my shame. The children were hit the hardest. A once beautiful and sweet home became empty and desolate. Laughter and happiness reduced, but the hush-hush and whispers of neighbors, schoolmates, social media community, everything and everyone was louder. They saw their mother's pain, but there was nothing they could do to take it away. It was difficult to be in the children's shoes, and no one could tell how they hurt or coped at school with the news of their father's second wife and how he disrespected their mother publicly. It was indeed a case of washing your dirty linen in the public. Nitsua bragged and called herself Jezebel. She called herself King Solomon's mother. Yam remained strong. Some people insulted her for refusing to accept a second wife. Others encouraged her to leave the marriage, but she held on, probably because of her kids. That's what mothers do. Even some of her supporters became impatient when she wouldn't leave the marriage, but it wasn't easy. She pleaded with her husband to stop talking about their business to the community, to make the heavy burden on her children's shoulder lighter, but he became louder instead. Bloggers fed fat on their story. It was the cow that produced the milk, and they were not about to let it die. Louis gained more followers so that they could hear more stories for their blogging business, but he mistook it for support and love. The couple lived in another state and enjoyed a happily ever after marriage, or so it seemed. Then, one day, the community parrot struck again and gave everyone another tale by moonlight. It so happened that Nitsua was once married. In fact, she is the wife of another man, Mr. Noel. Noel stated publicly for the community to hear that Nitsua was his wife. He married her when she was just 19 and sponsored her education. She had 2 kids by him but ran away from him to Louis. He said the little boy Louis was flaunting as his adorable prince might be his because they still continued to engage in intimate relationship with one another as husband and wife. He said Louis denied him access to his 2 older children he fathered with Nitsua. He wanted to be responsible for their welfare, education, and everything a father should do for his children, but Louis denied him all that. Well, he said he had remarried but wanted access to his children. He said Nitsua had always wanted to be like the big movie stars in the community. He advised against it, but she remained adamant, so he had no choice to support her. When she met Louis as an undergraduate in the university, things began to fall apart in their marriage. You see, Louis' praise singers understood that Old Testament men married more than one wife, but didn't remember to tell him that another Old Testament man, who was also a man of many wives himself, left words for those who would want to follow in their footsteps. He wrote in his famous book, the Book of Proverbs, the experiences of a polygamist who came, saw, and suffered. Proverbs chapter 6 verse 32 says, "Adultery is a brainless act, soul-destroying and self-destructive. Expect a bloody nose, a black eye, and a reputation ruined for good. For jealousy detonates rage in a cheated husband, wild for revenge, and he won't make allowances. Nothing you say or pay will make it all right. Neither bribes nor reason will satisfy a cheated husband." Soon after he announced he had taken a new wife, Niswa started flaunting Louis, her innocent boy, and her growing stomach. It was the parrot who said she was pregnant. There was a cloud of anger, shouting, hatred, and negative emotions surrounding this couple. Who will pay the price for that stupidity? The children, always the children. People pay little attention, but they suffer most. Yam stayed in the marriage. She was very mature and respectful. Nitwa's friend insulted and disrespected her, but she remained level-headed. As if that wasn't enough, there was another unfortunate incident. Her shop was burglarized and merchandise worth millions of naira was stolen. Yam posted a family picture of herself and her children for Christmas. It was beautiful. She looked elegant and gorgeous. Her children looked cool, calm, and collected, but somebody somewhere was agitated. She felt the picture was incomplete and decided it was hers to make it a complete imagery of what it should be. Nisa had a fighter in the ring. It was Haras, that friend that got your back and ready to do both best for you. That friend that wants to get for you what is rightfully yours in her mind. She schemed and plotted. So Haras decided it was her battle to fight. She photoshopped Louis, Nitsua, and the little boy into the picture. Voila, it was a complete family. It was as it should be in her mind, and she tagged it as it should be. The healing wound opened again. Yam was hot. She said it was insensitive for Haras to smear her when she barely knew her, and asked through her lawyers that Haras take down the picture. The picture was everywhere. Haras dared her and remained unrepentant. Yam reminded her husband about his wedding vows that he made to her before God and man. "I, Louis, take you, Yam, to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part, according to God's holy law. In the presence of God, I make this vow." I think at this point, it's expedient for Louis to go back and look at the vows he made to Yam 17 years ago, according to God's holy law. It is an error to violate God's law. It is better not to vow than to make a vow before God and then refuse to pay your vow. But see, Louis left long ago. He don't go long time ago. He was with her in the flesh, but now even the flesh followed the soul to the bosom of this other woman, the woman of his dream. He's been having and holding her since forever, the only sugar in his tea, the only meat in his pot, and the only butter on his bread. Oh God, Louis was blinded by lust. It was the same friend that Nitsa advertised charms on a community page for. All sorts of charms that can be used to hold men in bondage were advertised at discounted prices. Many people suggested that Louis was acting under the influence of the charms she posted. Haras threw another jab at Yam. She sent a message to the community. Never be afraid to snatch a good man from a lousy and careless woman. He deserves to be loved right. Same goes for women. Nobody is above snatching because everyone deserves to be loved right. How to snatch your papa? All the birds knew Hara's post was directed to Yam. Through it all, Yam remained silent, but the community observed the town crier fought for her. Louis didn't protect her in any way, shape, or form. He didn't protect her privacy. He didn't comfort her. Instead, he supported people who violated his wife on social media. Anyone who tried to tell Louis that the stubborn fly that won't listen to advice will follow a corpse to the ground became an enemy. In fact, he became angry with his elder brother and won't talk to him anymore. He refused to listen to reasonable advice, and then again another tragedy occurred. Louis' first son went on to play soccer after an exam he studied for all night. While at it, he slumped. By the time he got to the hospital, it was already late. He didn't make it. Just like that, he was gone. That same week, the community parrot spoke again that Nitsua had had a baby girl before the incident, and they kept it hush-hush. So the parrot advised Louis to do a paternity test on the boy to determine who the biological father really is, since Mr. Noel is also insinuating that he could be the father of the boy. Proverbs chapter 14 verse 12 says, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of but you'll find out in the end that you took the road to destruction." Well, finally, the young man was buried amid tears. It was painful. It was the height of everything negative for Yam. She had lost her marriage of 17 years. Her husband had disgraced her publicly. She had lost money and then she's lost something no parent ever prayed to lose. When the result of the DNA came out, Parrot hinted a selected few who were too afraid to say matter-of-factly what the result was. Either the town crier was the first to announce publicly that a certain movie actor wasn't the father of his child, but he was too scared to say who he was talking about. And then the community's bravest and most controversial blogger, R.D. Ahmed, broadcasted it with a full chest that the little Prince Louis is indeed not the biological son of Louis. Then, finally, the parrot spoke in a voice loud and clear that the father of the little Louis is neither Louis nor Nitsua's first husband, but another man in the movie industry within the community. What? Nitsua was immediately bombarded with insult and abuse. No one is comforting Louis now. He got a real raw deal. No one was there for him. So sad. The community was happy. What Nitsua did wasn't justifiable at all. It was sickening for claiming someone who is not, is. This only meant she was capable of anything. Louis married a person who cheated on her husband with him. He must be crazy to think she would be faithful to him. He got paid back in his own coin. This shows Nitsua is not trustworthy. Louis is devastated. He couldn't believe that after all what they shared together, Nitsua would betray his love. Why wouldn't she? If she did it to the man she married and the man who fathered her 2 children, what made him think he was special? Louis deleted all her pictures and her son's picture from his page, leaving only Yam's picture and his other children. He moved in with his parents and he wants his bride price back. He's done with the abominable marriage. Oh God, his eyes don't open. But it's too late. The deed had already been done. The rooster has come home to roost, but it's too late. She's gone. Yam doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. He moved in with his parents for consolation, but that also will not help. You can buy an hour with a prostitute for a loaf of bread, says the Bible, but a promiscuous woman may well eat you alive. Hey, kwekele, arugbo jegbese Daniel son, an elder is in debt. Who is going to pay the debt now? Why is there so much drama in Louis' world? It's sad. He didn't realize how blessed and heavenly his family was until he lost it. Wait a minute. Does this mean she was intimate with 3 men all along? See, when the Bible says don't commit fornication, it's because of you, to save you from hurt, to save you from heartbreak. The Bible says in 1 John chapter 5 verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. This law, thou shalt not commit adultery, is not a difficult command to obey at all. It's easy. Imagine if someone had told you to stay with just a wife, otherwise he would lose his children. He wouldn't have done it. He would have stayed away. We don't really know the consequences of disobeying those laws. They are God's laws, and the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, the beginning of knowledge, and it will prolong your life. This is another page from that old man in the Old Testament, the man that married more than one wife. He said, Proverbs chapter 6 verses 27 to 33, you cannot carry hot coals against your chest without burning your clothes, and you cannot walk on hot coals without burning your feet. The same is true if you have intimate relations with another man's wife. Anyone who does so will be punished. That is it. Well, we can't throw away the water with the baby. Nitsua can still be redeemed. She can still make a full 360-degree turn around and be a better person. But the question is, who is the father? So, what is the moral of the story? This story tells us that love alone is not enough to sustain a marriage. Fear of God, patience, kindness, commitment, good character, love, joy, effective communication, attraction, friendship, loyalty, laughter and smiles, negotiation, respect for family, respect for you, love for God, prayers, and the word of God are the foundation of a good marriage. These will withstand the storms of life. Marriage is hard work. We can't leave it to chance. Did you learn anything from this story about how to know if someone is right for you? Well, this is one sure way to know that someone is not right for you. Don't get involved with a married woman or man. Please subscribe to my channel, leave your comment, like, and click the notification bell. Thank you for watching. Until next time, beautiful.